You were against the war before it started. You want us out soon. What is your vision of what Iraq would be like with America gone?
I think that's up for America to decide with whatever friends we got left in the world that can do something about it, but especially with the so-called Arab leaders. I've never seen us talk so much about the friendships that we have with Saudi Arabia, with Jordan, with Egypt, and I never hear where they're doing anything in order to fill the gap that would be there if we pulled out. And so the pulling out doesn't necessarily mean that we're not going to give support. We could give support to some international effort to bring some sanity to a policy which we don't have in Iraq.
But some would argue, even though it's imperfect, the U.S. military presence is keeping a lid on a wider civil war. Do you see an escalation of violence if we pull out, or do you think somehow it'll stop?
The record speaks for itself. Violence has tremendously exploded since we went to Iraq.
Well, there's no question of that, but it could get worse. Some people think it will get worse. I wonder what you think. You want us out.
Well,
do you think
it's... If everyone would agree that our presence has exploded, the presence of violence there, why wouldn't people believe that if we left, that violence will leave too? You know,
is that what you think? The violence will stop when we leave?
I don't know. But one thing is certain. We have no dog in that fight. None. Except, as Chairman Greenspan recently said, to protect the oil interests. And that's not a moral reason for killing people.
You quoted Mr. Greenspan at the forum today. He's clarified his remarks a bit and said that he was not careful enough in describing what he meant in his book.
Sometimes when you are honest, you get a little backlash. But the truth of the matter is, every other reason given as to why we're in Iraq doesn't exist.
In your book and other places, you're fond of quoting Matthew 25:40. Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me. The Iraqis now seem like the least of our brothers, people that maybe we have an obligation for their safety, for their future.
Well, we have enough of the less of our brothers and sisters right here in America.
So what's important is what's best for the U.S. And if there's genocide in Iraq, that's really too bad, but it's not our concern.
That's not it. What I'm saying is that at the end of the day, we would have spent $2 trillion in Iraq, and right now it's $12 billion a month, and the president is thinking about vetoing a bill that would cover some 10 million kids. Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to say that you can take care of your lesser brothers and sisters here and then decide whether the other thing is a waste. If you think that I think that spending $12 billion over there is helping the lesser of my brothers and sisters, that's a sad mistake. We are killed. The war over there are killing tens of thousands of people that are over there. If you really want to help poor folks in the world, you don't sell them arms like we are offering to sell $20 billion to the Saudis and $13 billion to the Egyptians and $30 billion to Israel. No. You come in for the lesser in your brother and sisters and talk about jobs and training and commerce and trade agreements. That's what it's about, not showing people how they can kill each other.
You said today, speaking of the Democrats, if we don't do better, we'll pay at the polls. Do you think the Democrats aren't doing enough to respond to what a lot of people view as the public's desire for them to get us out of Iraq with the midterm election?
I know we're not doing enough. There's explanations as to why we're not doing enough. But I think the American people really thought that when they chased out the Republicans in the House and Senate and gave us a majority, they really thought they would see a difference. They didn't think it would be so complicated that parliamentary we couldn't do anything.
Did they deserve to see a difference?
Of course they did. Of course they did.
So they haven't because of structural problems or because the Democrats haven't gone far enough?
Democrats have not gone far enough. I've never been more disappointed.
The candidate you've endorsed, Hillary Clinton, yesterday voted for the measure that some people see could be a wedge into starting war with Iran.
That's not acceptable.
You were disappointed with her?
Very disappointed.
There isn't any circumstance where you would change your endorsement, is there?
I can't answer that. I can say I can't think of one now.
Okay.